Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadhare Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadhare Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadhare Balaba Girivanadhare Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadhari Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadhari Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadhari Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadhari Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balaba Girivanadhari Jana Balaba Girivanadhari Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivājakacharya Astotarasata Shishimad ISKCON Founder Acharya's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Shri Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda ki, Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Brajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Dham Mayapur ki, Ganga Maya ki, Jamuna Maya ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Tulsi Maharani ki, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasa Tator Jayamudir Ayat Nasta Prayashu Abhideshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Canto 10, Chapter 51, Texts 1 to 6. The deliverance of Muchukunda. Is there a verse? It's coming?
Read the chapter summary.
Should we read the beginning? This chapter describes how Lord Krishna caused Muchukunda to kill Kalyavana with his harsh glance, and it also relates the conversation between Muchukunda and Lord Krishna. After placing his family members safely within the Dwarka fortress, Sri Krishna went out of Mathura. He appeared like the rising moon. Kalyavana saw that Krishna's brilliantly effulgent body matched Narada's description of the Lord, and thus the Yavana knew he was the personality of Godhead. Seeing that the Lord carried no weapons, Kalyavana put his own weapons aside and ran towards him from behind, wanting to fight with him. Sri Krishna ran from the Yavana, staying just barely beyond Kalyavana's grasp at every step, and eventually leading him a long distance toward a mountain cave. As Kalyavana ran, he hurled insults at the Lord, but he could not grasp him, since his stock of impious karma was not yet depleted. Sri Krishna entered the cave, whereupon Kalyavana followed after him and saw a man lying on the ground. Taking him for Sri Krishna, Kalyavana kicked him. The man had been sleeping for a very long time, and now, having been violently awakened, he looked around angrily in all directions and saw Kalyavana. The man stared harshly at him, igniting a fire in Kalyavana's body, and in a moment burning him to death, to ashes. This extraordinary person was a son of Mandatas named Muchukunda. He was devoted to Brahminical culture and always true to his vow. Previously, he had spent many long years helping to protect the demigods from the demons. When the demigods had eventually obtained Kartikeya as their protector, they allowed Muchukunda to retire, offering him any boon other than liberation, which only Lord Vishnu can bestow. Muchukunda had chosen from the demigods the benediction of being covered by sleep, and thus since then he had been lying asleep within the cave. Upon Kalyavana's immolation, Sri Krishna showed himself to Muchukunda, who was struck with wonder at seeing Krishna's incomparable beauty. Muchukunda asked Lord Krishna who he was and also explained to the Lord his own identity. Muchukunda said, "After growing weary from remaining awake for a long time, I was enjoying my sleep here in this cave when some stranger disturbed me, and suffering the reactions of his sins, was burnt to ashes. O Lord, O vanquisher of all enemies, it is my great fortune that I now have the vision of your beautiful form." Lord Sri Krishna then told Muchukunda who he was and offered him a boon. The wise Muchukunda, understanding the futility of material life, asked him only that he might be allowed to take shelter of Lord Sri Krishna's lotus feet. Pleased at this request, the Lord said to Muchukunda, "My devotees are never enticed by material benedictions offered to them. Only non-devotees, namely yogis and speculative philosophers, are interested in material benedictions, having mundane desires in their hearts. My dear Muchukunda, you will have perpetual devotion for me. Now always remaining surrendered to me, go perform penances to eradicate the sinful reactions incurred from the killing you had to do in your role as a warrior. In your next life you will become a first-class Brahmin and attain me." Thus the Lord offered Muchukunda his blessings. Text number 1 of this particular chapter. Śrī-śuka uvāca tam vilokya viniṣkrāntam ujjihānam ivoḍupam darśanīyatamaṁ śyāmaṁ pīta-kauśeya-vāsasam. Śrī-śuka uvāca tam vilokya viniṣkrāntam ujjihānam ivoḍupam darśanīyatamaṁ śyāmaṁ pīta-kauśeya-vāsasam. Śrī-śuka uvāca tam vilokya viniṣkrāntam ujjihānam ivoḍupam darśanīyatamaṁ śyāmaṁ pīta-kauśeya-vāsasam. śrī-śuka uvāca tam vilokya viniṣkrāntam ujjihānam ivoḍupam darśanīyatamaṁ śyāmaṁ
pīta-kauśeya-vāsasam
pīta-kauśeya-vāsasam. Śrī-śuka uvāca tam vilokya viniṣkrāntam ujjihānam ivoḍupam darśanīyatamaṁ śyāmaṁ pīta-kauśeya-vāsasam. śrī-śuka uvāca tam vilokya viniṣkrāntam ivoḍupam. Tam vilokya viniṣkrāntam viniṣkrāntam darśanīyatamaṁ śyāmaṁ pīta-kauśeya-vāsasam. Anyone else? śrī-śuka uvāca tam vilokya viniṣkrāntam ujjihānam ivoḍupam darśanīyatamaṁ śyāmaṁ pīta-kauśeya. Okay. Śrī-śuka uvāca. Sukadeva Goswami said, Tam, him, vilokya, seeing, viniṣkrāntam, coming out, ujjihānam, rising, iva, as if, ivoḍupam, the moon, darśanīyatamaṁ, the most beautiful to behold, śyāmaṁ, dark blue, pīta, yellow, kauśeya, silk, vāsasam, whose garment. So that's the first verse. I'll just chant the next 5 verses and then we'll go to the translation. śrīvatsa-vakṣasaṁ bhrājat kaustubhāmukta-kandharam pṛthu-dīrgha-catur-bāhuṁ nava-kañjāruṇekṣaṇam nitya-pramuditaṁ śrīmat su-kapolaṁ śuci-smitam mukhāravindaṁ bibhrāṇaṁ spuran makarat kundalam vasudevo hiyayam iti puman śrīvatsa-lanchanaha chatur-bhujo ravindaksho vanamalyati sundaraha lakshaner narada proktair nanyo bhavitumarhati nirayudaschalan pabhyam yotsyenena niraduyudya iti nischitya-yavana prajavatam paranmukam anvadavajigrikushtam durapam apiyoginam. Sukadeva Goswami said, Kalyavana saw the Lord come out from Mathura like the rising moon. The Lord was most beautiful to behold, with his dark blue complexion and yellow silk garment. Upon his chest he bore the mark of śrīvatsa, and the kaustubha gem adorned his neck. His 4 arms were sturdy and long. He displayed his ever-joyful lotus face, with eyes pink like lotuses, beautifully effulgent cheeks, a pristine smile, and glittering shark-shaped earrings. The barbarian thought, "This person must indeed be Vasudeva, since he possesses the characteristics Narada Muni mentioned. He is marked with śrīvatsa. He has 4 arms. His eyes are like lotuses. He wears a garland of forest flowers, and he is extremely handsome. He cannot be anyone else. Since he goes on foot and unarmed, I will fight him without weapons." Resolving thus, he ran after the Lord, who turned his back and ran away. Kalyavana hoped to catch Lord Krishna, though great mystic yogis cannot attain him. Please repeat. Sukadeva Goswami said, Kalyavana saw the Lord come out from Mathura like the rising moon. The Lord was most beautiful to behold with his dark blue complexion and yellow silk garment. Upon his chest he bore the mark of śrīvatsa, and the kaustubha gem adorned his neck. His 4 arms were sturdy and long. He displayed his ever-joyful lotus-like face with eyes pink like lotuses, beautiful effulgent cheeks, a pristine smile, and glittering sharp-shaped earrings. The barbarian thought, "This person must indeed be Vasudeva, since he possesses the characteristics Narada mentioned. He is marked with śrīvatsa. He has 4 arms. His eyes are like lotuses. He wears a garland of forest flowers. And he is extremely handsome. He cannot be anyone else, since he goes on foot and unarmed. I will fight him without weapons." Resolving thus, he ran after the Lord, who turned his back and ran away. Kalyavana hoped to catch Lord Krishna, though great mystic yogis cannot attain him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, his devotees, disciples. Although Kalyavana was seeing Lord Krishna with his own eyes, he could not adequately appreciate the beautiful Lord. Thus, instead of worshipping Krishna, he attacked him. Similarly, it is not uncommon for modern men to attack Krishna in the name of philosophy, law and order, and even religion. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyana Gyana Shalakaya Chakshun Ur Militam Gena Tarsmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangurlangaite Gudim Yakwika Tanaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinatarine. So, the Yavana, or barbarian, as it's translated here, saw Krishna, who was in Mathura, and although he recognized that he must be that Supreme Personality of Godhead, somehow or other he wasn't able to offer him respects or any kind of affection or devotion to the Lord although the Lord was standing right in front of him. So this is the predicament of the demoniac class of men. Name prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavitaha mudoyam nabhijanati mamebhya param avyayam. The Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he's telling him, I never manifest to the foolish or less intelligent. I am covered by my yogamaya potency. Therefore, they're mudha, they're ignorant, unintelligent, and mogasha moga karmana moga jnana. They're bewildered by Krishna's external energy, the modes of passion and ignorance especially. And even in sattva guna, they cannot understand the Lord. Even those who study the Vedas, they themselves are also bewildered by the modes of material nature. Krishna says to Arjuna, when he's showing him the universal form, he says, Naham vedar na tapasa nada nena nachejaya. So here it's mentioned that even the great mystic yogis who are performing all types of Astanga yoga systems, even they can't catch the Lord. But we see that Mother Yashoda, she was able to capture the Lord. Therefore, Queen Kunti says, Janmaishvarya Shrutashibir Edamana Madapuman Naivar Adibatum Vai Twamakinchana Gocharam. That in this string of verses in the first canto, she's describing that those persons who are obsessed with high education, high birth, material opulence, and beautiful bodily features, they can never address the Lord with feelings. They can never come past covered by the curtain of illusion. They cannot approach the Lord with feelings. Actually, Prabhupada says the Lord, He has feelings. And intrinsically and inherently, love of Godhead is within our hearts, dormant. And that has to be awakened through this process of bhakti yoga or self-realization. So Queen Kunti is saying here that Krishna, he becomes the property of his devotees. Bhakta Vatsalya, he's the property of his devotees. So, of course, it's very, very rare. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschan yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam. That is very rare to start to understand. Here we're hearing about Vasudeva Krishna. He had left Dwarka and he had come to Mathura. And of course he had descended 5,000 years ago to destroy the demoniac kings. There were so many demoniac kings on the planet, and adharma was becoming very prominent. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir. So the principles of dharma were being diminished by the influence of, well, Kali Yuga was coming into play here. So here Kalyavana, he gets the mercy by seeing the Lord. One may say the Lord's not very merciful. Like in the 16th chapter, Krishna says, Tanaham dushata kruram samsareshu naradamam shipamiya jashum ashubam. He says, I cast these demons into lower species of life. Asurishu eva yonishu. Yoni, into the wombs of cats and dogs, Prabhupada says in the purport. So people are very proud, Prabhupada is saying in this chapter, people are very proud of their material advancement. Etam dristam avastabhya nastalpanulpa buddhaya prabhavanti ugra karmana. People are very proud of their technological advancement. We have rocket science now. We can shoot pieces of metal into the ionosphere. And we're very proud. Prabhupada says they're very proud of their nuclear weapons. But at any moment, he says, Prabhavanti ugra karmana shayaya means they will destroy their own civilizations if they're not careful. If they're continuing in this materialistic obsession with material advancement merely for some sense gratification and some material comfort, he says ultimately they can destroy their own civilizations. So one may say Krishna's words are very strong. He's condemning these demons like they're actually barbarians. Nate vidusva artagatim. They have no interest in understanding their true purpose of human life, which is to pursue the path of prema bhakti, how to love God. They've forgotten this. When Prabhupada arrived in, I think it was Dallas Airport, and they were interviewing, he said, I've come to teach you what you have forgotten. What have you forgotten? You've given up religion. Adharmam dharmam itiya manyate tamasa. Krishna says in the 18th chapter that people, they think that irreligion is religion. So they think committing the 4 sinful activities in Kali Yuga, all the adharmis, gambling. You go to America, there's a place called Las Vegas, and all the 4 principles are being destroyed there. The legs of the Dharma, the bull, are being smashed by Kali. And we know that Kali was given the blessings of Parikshit Maharaj, that he can live wherever there's lots of material wealth, lots of gold. So we see Las Vegas, the epitome of sinful activities. So the demonic people, they, although Krishna was present, and Duryodhana, the Kauravas, so many of them were there in the presence of the Lord, they actually were so offensive to the Lord. In fact, they tried to tie Krishna up when he came as a messenger to appeal for peace with the Pandavas. So adharmam dharmam itiya, they consider religion to be irreligion and irreligion to be religion. Ayatavat prajanihi, they have no direction in life. So here, devotees of the Lord, of course, we relish Krishna's heroic activities, that he's on the planet and so many demons are there like Jarasandha, and Krishna wants to have some sporting activities, so he comes down from Goloka Vrindavan. There's no demons in the spiritual world. So he comes down here and he engages in all kinds of heroic activities. He kidnaps Rukmini, which is kind of wonderful, you know. Kidnaps Princess Rukmini, whose brother is quite demoniac. And he marries 16,108 princesses. He defeats and kills Bhaumasura, who had locked these princesses up in his castle. So these are wonderful activities. The devotees, satatam kirtayantamam yatantas chadra. We love to hear these wonderful activities of the Lord, how he's killing these demons. Krishna created a river of blood when he was fighting with Jarasandha, and there were elephants floating in this river, dead elephants, dead bodies that looked like sharks, and beautiful descriptions. Prabhupada gave us this Krishna book. He was a little bit worried that he might not live to translate the full 10th canto, so he gave us this Krishna book, which is considered the face of the Lord. It starts from the first canto, and we gradually understand that Krishna is full of unlimited potencies. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, natatchamascha vadikascha drishyate, sarvasya shaktir vividhaiva shriyate, swabhavaki gana bala kriya cha. The Krishna, like when he was entering Mathura with the cowherd boys, and when Akrura had taken him from Vrindavan, of course the inhabitants of Vrindavan were completely, traumatized and overwhelmed with feelings of separation. But when Krishna entered the Mathura, one tailor of Kamsa was chastising him. How dare you ask for these wonderful clothing? This belongs to the king Kamsa. You'll be punished. And Krishna just took his hand and he cut his head off. And this is the original karate chop. So like that, Krishna can use Krishna can use any part of his body to do anything. He's omnipotent like that. So this is the quality of Krishna. With his eyes, he's accepting prasad offering every day. With his eyes, he can kill. With his hands, he can do so many things. So this is the Lord's potency. Sarvasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shuyate. Unfortunately, the demoniac personalities, they refuse to accept the existence of God, even though he's right in front of them. Prabhupada said, you want to see God? You can see him on the altar. He's appearing here in his Archa Vigraha form. What is the problem? In fact, one lady said, Swami, do you see Krishna? And Prabhupada said, yes. Krishna says, I am the light of the sun and the moon. I am the sound of Om. I am the pure taste of water. He describes all these things in Bhagavad Gita. So, unfortunately, the demoniac persons, influenced by their false ego, they refuse to accept the existence of God. Asatyam apratishtam te jagadahura-nishwaram. They say the universe came from a big explosion. It's called the Big Bang Theory. and then life came out of this primordial soup. That's what they teach now in all the big universities around the world. Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, MIT. So there was some kind of a primordial soup, a bunch of chemicals in a lake, and a lightning struck it. And then, you gradually got some molecule proteins formed. And then gradually, these little things, they gradually evolved by some forces, random forces. And gradually you had slithering creatures coming out of this lake. And gradually you got, by the forces of natural selection and genetic mutation. These are all atheistic theories, which cannot be, hardly, they talk about religious superstition, but this is such a superstitious, such foolish ideas. They have no idea how life came from chemical. They have no idea. And yet they teach this to the youth of society, to the young people in the universities. So stubborn, they're very stubborn. And as Prahlad Maharaj says, my dear father, your real enemy is not Vishnu. Your real enemy is your own mind. Chanchala himana Krishna pramati balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vair eva suduskaram. Arjuna tells Krishna, this mind is so chanchal, it's so restless, and it's so stubborn. Pramati balabad, and it's strong like the wind. Your real enemy is your mind. Mind, false ego, and contaminated intelligence. The subtle body is your real enemy, and is driving you, patanti narake sucho, is driving them down into hellish existence, and they're wasting their human form of life. As Prahlad told his friends, my dear demoniac friends, Kumaram acharat pragyo dharmam bhagavatanihan durabam manusajam janma, that the human form of life is so rare. After billions and billions of evolution through various species, 8,400,000 species of life, you've gotten this human form of life, and now you're wasting it, pursuing nartotaya pakalpate, pursuing economic development for sense gratification. This is the whole material modern society. Economic advancement, stocks and bonds, New York Stock Exchange. You know, how much money are we making? And throw your money here and there. And with all this material opulence, we can enjoy our senses, right? Sense gratification. Yehi samsparshaja boga dukkha yona evate, yonaya evate, dukkha yona evate. The source of misery is this sense gratification. Adyantavanta kunte, it has a beginning and end. Nateshu samate buddha. An intelligent person does not take shelter in these mind and senses, the uncontrolled mind and senses. So unfortunately, the demoniac class of man, like Kalyavana, he's overwhelmed by his mind and senses, and he's simply pursuing, chewing the chewed, as Prahlad tells Hiranyakashipu, his father. Matirna Krishna paratasvato vamito bipadyeta grihavana vratanam. You've taken a vow to enjoy this material world. You're trying to enjoy it. How dare you talk about God? Idam adyamaya labdam imam prapshe manoratam idam asidam apime bhavishyati punardanam. So much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. Asomaya hatar shatru. That person's my enemy. I must do away with him. So in this world we have, there's friends and enemies. This is what politics, this is what Sandana is trying to teach Hiranyakashipu's son. Friends and enemies, diplomacy. Yeah, these will be my friends. Those guys are my enemies. Like this. In this way, people are wasting their lives and simply complicating the world situation. Therefore, Prabhupada says in so many places that the world without this Vedic Brahminical culture is simply chaotic. It's full of chaos. And the majority, 99% of the population on the planet are simply bewildered and suffering. And one time, Prabhupada was being interviewed again in America, and he said, "Your civilization is doomed." Very outspoken, actually. Srila Prabhupada didn't pull any punches. And so, Tadvag Visargo Janataga Viplavo, this Srimad Bhagavatam is staging a revolution, right? These words of Bhagavatam are staging a revolution to change the lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Yasmin pratisokam abadavati api namanyantasi kuton kitani shrinvanti gayanti grinanti sadhava. Beautiful verse by Sukadev Goswami, where he's saying that this literature, although it may not be perfectly written, is meant to change the lives of this world's misdirected civilization. So Srila Prabhupada has created an army of devotees, and our business is simply to wage war against Maya. That is our business, to push back the influence of Kali Yuga by promoting this Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishna Sango Pangasya Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtane Prayir Yajantihi Sumedasha. That there's a little window of opportunity in this age of Kali. We have another 427,000 years to go. And in that length, there will be so much, already there's so much degradation. Prabhupada said that people are busy killing humans, killing animals, killing their own children in the wombs. There's so much degradation going on. So there's a little window here of light that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has. Krishna himself, he is descended with all his Sangopangastra Parshadam. His only weapons are his associates. He's come with his brother, Lord Nityananda, who is Lord Balaram. They've come now to dissipate the darkness in the age of Kali and give some relief to the suffering souls. So one time Srila Prabhupada was coming out of the hospital. He'd had some heart attack, some stroke, and devotees wanted to take him to California where it was very warm. They said, Prabhupada, you should rest. And Prabhupada said, there's a program. I've been asked to go and lecture. And then, no, Prabhupada, you should rest a couple of days. And Prabhupada looked at them and he said, do not take away my right to struggle for Krishna. So, in this world that we live in, even as devotees, we will be struggling. Tatenu kampam shushamikṣamano bunjani vatmakritam vipakam. The devotees are also struggling. The Pandavas, they had a lot of struggles. They tried to poison Bhima. They gave them a house and then they lit it up, a shalak house. Then they stole their wife, the Draupadi, who was extremely beautiful and qualified queen. And they stole her in a gambling match. They took their property away. So they accepted all these things as tests to make one stronger, right? Vipadashantu tashachvam tacha tacha jagat guru. Queen Kunti is saying, let these calamities come again and again, because then I have to really depend on Krishna, like Draupadi. They were disrobing her and she was holding on, but then she said, okay, Krishna, it's all up to you. You're my Lord, you're my master, you're my protector. You're the supreme soul of the universe, as Queen Kunti said. O soul of the universe, Lord of the universe. That is Lord Krishna. So he's our protector, he's our master, he's our friend. These are some of the symptoms of surrender that we have to accept. So devotees of the Lord, we may go through many trials and tribulations in life, always expecting Krishna's protection, like the Pandavas. And ultimately they came out on top. They came out victorious. Although the odds were against them, they came out victorious. They destroyed 600 million warriors were destroyed. They destroyed the entire host of the Kauravas. Duryodhan, he was actually a partial incarnation of Kali Yuga. He was ultimately killed. Dhritarashtra, who was too much attached to his family and power and so many things, he accepted defeat. And he's still, Yudhisthira Maharaj is so kind. Ajata Shatrava Shanta. He's one who has no enemy. Even his enemy he sees as his friend. That is a devotee. Titikshava kunika surida sarva bhutanam. Ajata Shatrava Shanta. Sadhava sadhubhushanam. These are qualities. The more we engage in service to Krishna, the more we indulge ourselves in pure devotional service, engage ourselves in pure devotional service. These qualities naturally manifest. One who even sees his enemy as his friend. Ajata Shatrava. Maharaj Yudhisthira was like this. And these are the qualities that devotees of the Lord, by associating with Krishna, simply by chanting his holy name, Nam Namakari Bahudanija Sharva Shaktis Tatarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Itadrishi Tavakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Dudaiva Miji Samihajanu Nanaraga. That the Supreme Lord has all his potencies invested in his holy name. He's there in his holy name, his pastimes, his activities, his beauty. Here is described how beautiful Lord Krishna is. He is described as the Lord of all the lotuses. Namaha pankajan maya, namaha pankajan maline, namaha pankajan chaya, namaste pankajan chaya. Queen Kunti says, you're the Lord of the lotuses. The Krishna's eyes are like lotus petals. His navel is like a lotus petal, like a lotus flower. His hands resemble lotus flowers. His feet are lotus, lotus-like. And from these lotuses, Rupa Goswami describes, it's mentioned by Krishnadas Kaviraj, that from all these lotus flowers on Krishna's body emanates a beautiful scent of a guru mixed with chandan and camphor. And when it enters into the nostrils, the nose of the gopis, they become blinded by the scent of Krishna's lotus smell, and they're not able to find their way back home to their husbands. So Krishna is the all-attractive, as described here. His yellow dhoti, his beautiful monsoon-like complexion. So he's all attractive for his devotees, and he's actually, his main business is how to enliven his devotees. Katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha. Devotees are so enlivened and satisfied by always hearing about Krishna, his beauty, his extraordinary activities, his wonderful pastimes with his loving devotees. There's the beautiful rasas, dasiras, sakiras. He has cowherd boyfriends. Like this. This is the glories of the Lord. So Krishna is the center of the devotees' lives. Machita madgata prana. Devotees are always thinking of Lord Krishna. By chanting the holy name of Krishna, gradually that love for Krishna, that attraction for Krishna is awakened within our hearts. First, adoshada, tata, sadhusanga. First, we have to have a little faith that there's a God. Unfortunately, like Kalyavana, he gets to see the Lord. He's so fortunate, but he doesn't take advantage of it. Duryodhana also. He sees the Lord. No, nah. Unfortunate, most unfortunate. So we have been made fortunate by these great acharyas. The 6 Goswamis who lived under a different tree every day, every night here in Vrindavan. And they were writing, they were empowered by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to write wonderful literatures about devotional service. And the most advanced and elevated concept of love of God, the love between Radha and Krishna Krishna's pastimes here in Vrindavan is taxing the gopis who are going to deliver ghee and yogurt across the river, is making śyāmaṁ, Radharani is making Radhakun. All these wonderful pastimes are being given to us by these empowered devotees who have come with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's empowering them. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we know as Krishna, Tvisha Krishna, covered Krishna. So he's the God himself. He's so merciful that he's come here in Bharatvarsh and he's distributing freely. Here, take love of God. One time, Brahmananda asked Prabhupada, what does it mean, causeless mercy? And Prabhupada took his cane and he's poking him in the stomach, saying, here, take it, causeless mercy, take it. So like that, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he's just out of his great compassion. He was sitting in Vrindavan, but his spiritual master has begged him, go across the ocean and give this great gem, this great jewel. And Prabhupada, when he was in London, he said, you British came to India and you stole all the jewels, but you got the wrong jewels. He said, the real jewel, the real Ratna, right? Ratna? The real jewel is this prema, this love of God. What does God look like? He's extremely beautiful. With a peacock crown, with a peacock feather. He's so beautiful that the gopis are cursing, the inhabitants of Vrindavan are cursing Lord Brahma. Why do you let my eyes blink? Radharani was praying, let me have fish eyes, because fish eyes don't blink. And I can't miss that beautiful Krishna for one moment. One moment feels like 10 years or more. Yugaitam nimeshana chakshusha prabhishaitam sunyaitam jagat. When I don't see Krishna for a moment, the world feels vacant, like 12 years or more. Things are so vacant. So, this is the wonders of Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada went across the ocean on a cargo boat, but he was full of this Krishna prema, Krishna bhakti. He was empowered by the Lord. Kali Kalir Dharm Harinam Sankirtan Krishna Shakti Vinanaya. When I was here, when Prabhupada was being entered into Samadhi, then Narayan Maharaj was asked to run the ceremony, and he quoted this verse, Krishna Shakti Vinanaya Tara. No one can spread this Sankirtan movement in this miraculous way throughout the entire world, where millions and millions of people are chanting Hare Krishna. How is it possible? That person is Avesha. He's a Shakta Vesh. Avesha means Lord Chaitanya has entered into his body and empowered him. Just like Nakula Brahmachari or Nishingananda Brahmachari, they were empowered by Lord Chaitanya. And wherever they went, people would suddenly become full of ecstasy and love for Krishna by the potency that Lord Chaitanya invested in these devotees. Narottam Das Thakur also. So similar, we have Srila Prabhupada, who was empowered to spread this Sankirtan all over the world. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So potent. And so we want to be grateful for the mercy of the Lord in the form of Srila Prabhupada. He's the mercy incarnation of Lord Chaitanya. And this movement is spreading more and more for the next 10,000 years. And we want to participate and be part of it and hang on to Srila Prabhupada's dhoti. No matter what, we want to take shelter of the great acharyas, Srila Prabhupada and his predecessors. Very, very important. And carry on the Sankirtan movement. Prabhupada said, when I was in his presence in Los Angeles, I think it was 74, if you want to please me, then preach as vigorously as I did. Preaching is fighting. And this is a fighting. We're soldiers, and we have to fight. And even if we become wounded, we have to pick ourselves up and keep going. Because in Kali Yuga, of course, we're surrounded by the sinful influence of Kali. Everywhere, so much sin, even in India. You know, I go to Delhi or Calcutta, and young people now, they're all smoking, girls are smoking. When I lived in Delhi in the 80s, that was unheard of. Seeing a young girl smoking, teenage girl or students. Now, more westernization. We want to be like the Americans. Very dangerous path to take. We want to be like the Vedic Bharat Varshis. We want to be revive this Bharat Varsh culture, this Sanatan Dharma, the ancient Vedic culture. And people all over the world are coming here to Bharat Varsha to experience this great, rich culture of India. So we want to be the ambassadors and representatives. Thank you very much for your patience and your kind ears. If you have any question or comment. Have any comment, Prabhu? Yeah, one question.
It seems like we're always fighting Maya, but Maya is Krishna's servant, and we say that the Maya is our own mind and senses. And we're influenced by that. So they once asked Prabhupada about too much Maya here. Well, you show me a place there's no Maya, we should all go there. So it's almost like a battle that the servant of Krishna is imposing herself as Maya and influencing our mind and senses. Why we have a battle? Well, maybe if Krishna would call her off, it would get a better chance of this purification process.
Call her off. Well, I mean, as it's stated, there's no loss or diminution on the path. So even if we slip, and of course we're struggling, as in Vedi Bhakti, there's rules and regulations. In Sadhana Bhakti, there's the mechanical. And then later on, as we become spontaneous, we attain Raga Bhakti within the realm of rules and regulations, but we're more spontaneous. We run to the temple to see Krishna. We're very enthusiastic to, remember the Lord and serve the Lord and spread His glories. Maya, because we have, we've been given this free will. We're agents of our own destinies. So if we choose darkness, we want to be the enjoyer, the center of everything, Ishvaraham Amam Bhogi, I'm the supreme controller. I have my bank account. I got a beautiful house in America, or I'm from Canada. And, I got stocks and bonds everywhere and false sense of security. This is the throwing potency of Varnatmika and Pravarnatmika. Maya covers, she also throws. So that's her job. And she's the potency of Krishna. She is the external energy of the Lord. So we have to beg and take shelter of Krishna and see ourselves as just destitute in terms of devotional service. I am destitute. I am the most fallen. I'm at the bottom of the ladder. Trinata pisa nitya vasa hishnu. Lord Chaitanya said, take this verse and string it on the beads of the holy name. String it on the little beads of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This is the requirement. This is our requirement. Maya is shooting all kinds of weapons at us, and we got to keep our head low. Keep your head down, or you'll get hit. You'll get hit. So she has so many ways of attacking us. So many ways, through the false ego, through envy, through lust, through greed, through doubts, so many ways, unlimited ways. How Maya's, she's got an arsenal full of weapons. She's got the door open. Here, take this astra, Brahmastra, Agni astra, whatever. Throwing astras at us. So, Maya, could you please take a break? No, Maya doesn't sleep. She never takes a break. The modes of material nature are always there. So our only hope is basically just to beg the Lord, please, Lord, I'm just a speck of dirt. I'm just a fallen soul. Even Krishnadas Kaviraj, he says, anyone who hears my name will lose all his pious activities. And if he utters my name, he'll certainly go to hell. Krishnadas Kaviraj is a pure devotee of the Lord. He's a manjari. It's mentioned in the Gaur Ganotesh Dipika. He's a manjari. He's assistant of Radharani. I mean, these are great, great personalities, and they really feel themselves like this fallen, so fallen and lowly. So that's the symptom of advancement. that we feel ourselves so insignificant, so fallen and small. Even Prabhupada offered a prayer like that when he came to Commonwealth Pier in Boston. So, yeah, Maya has her job, and she's good at it. Expert, she's expert. So our business is to really take shelter of the Vaishnavas. Always take shelter. Don't ever be offended by a devotee. Don't offend a devotee. And don't take offense. Okay, I'm being taught something. If a devotee smashes me or criticizes it or punish it, you're in ISKCON, there's going to be some, you're going to experience some beating, some push, some smashing. It's part of the program. So we have to, okay, I'm learning a lesson here, a lesson in humility and tolerance. I have to tolerate, The example, of course, we know Haridas Thakur and other examples of tolerance. So, yeah, Maya, an agent to test you comes even in the form of a devotee. Here, take the test. You're going to pass the test? The mind has to always remain strong, and we have to be diligent. Sometimes we go, oh, look at ISKCON, blah, blah, blah. Or look at this leader, blah. No. We want to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada in the form of his books, his teachings, and his instructions. Every day we want to practice sadhana bhakti very sincerely. And in the Upadeshamrita, these are guidelines. Avoid overeating, collecting too much, being too greedy, all these things that we know about, fault-finding, kutinati. These things are all being described many places in Prabhupada's books. So these are like guidelines, blueprint, how to make it to up the mountain. We want to get to the top of the mountain, which is, Prabhupada said, what pleases me most, they asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada was always stressing book distribution. Yeah, distribute my books, Every time I saw him, he was, that's why I'm stressing, distribute my books. So then the book distributors came to Prabhupada, Tripurari, and Prabhupada, what pleases you the most? Prabhupada said, what pleases me the most is if you love Krishna. He didn't say book distributor. He said, what pleases me the most is how you can love Krishna. That's the goal of all our activities, is how we can develop our attachment to the Lord, attain raga bhakti, some real devotion without any tinge of envy or motivation. I'm a GBC, I'm a leader. That's also a kind of distraction. If we want to be like some pratishta, we want some honor or some exclusive, I'm a member of the VIP group. So we have to be careful because these things are obstacles to get to Krishna. Krishna is watching, and if you want Krishna, then you have to try and get rid of these anarthas, these subtle and gross anarthas. That's given in Prabhupada's books, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, these things are described. Cleansing of the Gundicha temple, we have to clean our hearts of all the little bits of dust and little twigs and dirt within our hearts. And then it's elaborated there by Prabhupada quotes Bhakti Siddhanta. Desire for worship by other devotees, so on. Why? Because the gift that we want, the gift that Srila Prabhupada wants us to get is that pure love. And to get there is very explicitly described, no motives whatsoever except to please the Lord and His devotees. to please the Lord's devotees. We want to please all the Lord's devotees. Always friendly to devotees, serving the devotees. Kalidas, he ate the remnants of every devotee in Bengal. He would take their plates after they ate, and he'd lick the plates. And Krishnadas Kaviraj said, don't be scornful. That the foodstuffs given by devotees, the water that washes the feet of the devotees, the remnants of the food of devotees, these three things are very purifying. So I better end because it's very late. Hare Krishna. Thank you.